All right, cool. Yeah, I'm Cranbrook Road,
Yeah, you're off
but
Cranbrook
more
Road.
towards Barkingside end.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, I know where you mean. Yeah, my missus used to live Clayhall as well.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm kind of in the middle of Cranbrook and Clayhall.
yeah, gotcha. Oh, awesome. And you always been from that way, or
yeah, I've always lived in the same house for 30 years. I've never ever moved.
Born and raised, yeah. No, so
Yeah,
I'm from Nottingham originally. Met Ruben met Ruben at uni, and then I lived in Gants Hill with my brother and a friend for 6 years. My brother still lives there, actually.
How come you moved from Nottingham to Gants Hill?
No, so I came to London for uni. So I was at UCL with Ruben.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was in halls with Ruben, and then
worst time of my life.
and then I was living in Gants Hill then with my brother then for the last couple of years of uni, and then when I started working as well, and then I moved to Greenwich. And then I got married, so that was me and my wife in Greenwich. And now we're in Loughton. I don't know if you know.
Loughton.
Yeah.
Yeah, just another
right now.
10 minutes up the road.
Exactly.
10 minutes up the road. Yeah.
All right, boys, you done?
Yeah.
All right, cool. We are live in 3 groups as opposed to 33. This is SHB Unfiltered podcast episode number. What number, Chris?
9,
which means it's day number 9 of lockdown. We're in London, lockdown. This is the only Stuttering podcast running Facebook streams live and running every day. We are here same time every day. Today we got Christopher Jackson, myself, Ruben Fly, and we got Amr. And my friend, my dear friend, who has decided to spend his valuable time with us this evening. Amr, how are you, brother?
What's going on, brother? I'm keeping well. Just trying to stay positive. Lockdown. It's good that you saved your best podcast for episode 9. So, I'm here now. Start everyone's week off, all right?
You better live up to it, dude. You better live up to it. Chris,
all day.
Chris, how's it going today, mate? What's going on?
Yeah, today's good. Today I've been working on some stuff for the charity, StopHoldingBack. So today's been a productive day. Been good.
So have I, actually. So have I. You've seen my output, Chris. How am I doing?
Yeah, doing great. I had to find a way to job you up today, so I managed to job you up, and you delivered, man.
Yeah. He's got me whipped. Today I thought this would be a good chance to kind of speak about like a general topic that we can all kind of relate to, which is sports and how sports can actually impact our lives in a positive way. The reason why I thought about it is because there's literally zero sport on. I saw a meme where the only football league currently active is Belarus somewhere.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And this joke is like following some next man teams, and I'm right now. But yesterday afternoon, BBC played a replay of one of the best England games I've seen in recent years, which is Croatia 2004. Scholes ended his 3-year goal drought and subsequently retired from international football off that tournament. But it was like a nice kind of way to think, how does sport impact our lives? And just a bit of information for Amar, because he's a bit of a b-ball fan. Chris was very close to becoming pro.
You serious, Chris?
Yeah.
My best.
What you playing? Point guard?
Nah, I actually played 2 guard. So I played shooting guard.
Yeah.
And the reason why I didn't want to play point guard was because point guard requires you to organize. a lot, and you have to dictate
of
a lot
course.
to
Yeah.
the other players. And because of my speech, I wanted to avoid that. So I didn't want to get myself in a situation where I was dribbling the ball up, trying to call the play, and then I was blocking as I was trying to call
gotcha.
play. So I wanted to shift that responsibility to somebody else. So I worked on my shooting. I worked on coming off the screens and pulling up. So I became quite a good shooter, because I felt like with having the ball in my hand, a lot of speaking responsibility came with it, and I was trying to avoid it.
So you're like more silent. You're like silent assassin, like Klay Thompson, yeah?
Yeah, well, yeah. I suppose I was striving to be like him, but I didn't quite get that good.
There's still time, bro. Yeah. You still following the game?
Yeah.
You follow NBA?
I play, and I play local league for a team in East London called the Urkanauts.
That's wicked, man.
We play in a local league in London. So it's cool. It keeps me fit. It keeps me involved in the game to a certain extent. So it's fun. Nice.
Yeah, no, that's my favorite player is actually a shooting guard, Bradley Beal, Washington Wizards.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm a Wizards fan. It's a long random slider. We don't need to get onto that. I don't want you to lose all your viewers on a podcast. But yeah. But yeah, Bradley Beal is my favorite player, and big Wizards fan. So,
have you got any affiliation to Washington? Because to just come out from England and be a Wizards fan,
I know, it's quite unlucky, right? But no. So what it is the first live game I went to was in DC. So I used to work at I still technically do work at a company headquartered in DC. So I'd fly out to DC a couple times a year, and then I was in a bar. Yeah, I was in a bar with my wife. First trip to DC. This is like 6 years ago now, and
Sharon, bro.
We got thanks, Ruben. Yeah, we got talking to this couple, and they just said to us, there's a Wizards game on at it's called Verizon Center at the time. You guys should just come along. And we were just like, you know what? Got nothing else to do that evening, free evening, and went. And I was just instantly just hooked. Like before then, I kind of, I enjoyed the game just kind of with a passing interest, just when the playoffs come around, right? Because of the time difference, you don't really get anything more than that in the UK. But then, like when I saw a game live, I was just like, oh my gosh. And then I was just absolutely hooked. And unfortunately, the team I saw with the Wizards, who at the time weren't that bad. I don't know if you follow it closely, but it was John Wall, Bradley Beal. It was the year after they kind of broke out and they got to the second round. They beat Chicago in the first round of the playoffs, and so they were pretty good. But they just haven't, unfortunately, been able to kick on and kind of get to the promised land and get to like a conference finals appearance. But I'm a huge Wizards fan. Yeah, I'm quite obsessive. So once I get into something, I really get into it. So then I got League Pass, and I'm like staying up to 3 a.m. watching the Wizards games. Yeah. Regular season game, it doesn't even matter.
Well, you sound like you're more obsessive than me.
Yeah,
I'm not that obsessive. I mean, regular season, I will tune in the next morning and see what happened. I watch the highlights, but if I got work, there's no way that I'm staying up till 5 a.m. to
I hear you. One thing I do is basically because my daughter's really young, is I'd end up, if I'm doing like the late feed or night feed with her, just stick it on and me and her both watch it for a little bit and put her back to sleep. Yeah. But this season not been able to. Well, it's actually coincided with the fact that John Wall's out for the season, so the Wizards are really bad. So I'm not watching as much. Still got the League Pass. I went to a Lakers game in November.
Yeah. I've been
that was mad.
Which one?
I was at Staples Center. Bro, Kobe was at that game. That's sad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've got a picture of Kobe and his daughter. It was the first regular season game he went to that year. So obviously, like, they showed him on the big screen and the crowd were getting all hyped. And it's mad thinking that, like, with everything that happened there in January. That's just crazy. But yeah, he was at the game. It was a wicked game. Yeah, and LeBron is just different level, man. Like you see it when you watch it live. He is just different level.
That's that boy Amma, isn't it?
Yeah.
LeBron James.
no comment, bro. No comment. You got dead that.
All right, lads. That was actually really, really sweet, and his. No, I'm actually being serious, right? Because without any sport on kind of TV or on the news, like before, I'd be checking BBC Sport like every 2 hours to seeing what the update is.
Yeah.
The last thing I saw was Arteta saying he misses people hunting. I was like, wait.
Scraping the barrel.
Dude, but Phil McNulty's articles are dried up. And this has given me a newfound appreciation for sport, and just the whole drama around it, and the feelings that you get from certain players playing or certain teams playing, winning and losing and stuff. And like you have already spoken about kind of the impact on basketball and kind of a passion for that. Amma and Chris had experience playing basketball, so I was going to ask, like, kind of you touched upon that briefly, but tell us a bit about the positives that you gained from that experience, because fair enough, it was tough for you at that point, speaking wise, during games, but did you feel like you were gaining things that now you look back and think those experiences, those kind of teamwork and skills and environments have shaped who you are now?
Yeah, like massively. I mean, growing up, like basketball was me. That's how I used to identify myself. CJ is the basketball player. So that was the most prominent thing in my life when I was growing up. That's all I was focused on. And the main thing that it taught me is that if you want to achieve something and you want to get good at something, you have to put in the work. There's no shortcuts. So resilience as well, because there's also a lot of rejection that you can get. There's times where you feel you deserve to be, say, in the starting five and you're not, you're on the bench, and you have to learn to bounce back from that, continue to work hard in training. It teaches you to set goals and to work your arse off to meet them. It teaches you that nothing comes easy, and then the discipline that you need as well. You know, you have to make training all the time. Like with basketball, it's drummed into you that it's a team sport. So what you do affects everyone. So what used to happen is if you were 30 seconds late to training and everyone was there, everyone was running suicide, which is basically sprints up and down the court. So you learn how important it is to be committed as a team, as a group, how your actions affect everybody else. And but the main thing that it taught me was that hard work pays off. And then when I was like, just to quickly transfer that into working on your speech, I realized that nothing was gonna come easy. And if I wanted to progress with my speech, I was gonna have to put myself through the trenches and really work this thing out by putting myself in different experiences.
Do you feel as well that in the same way as you like described basketball, where it was purely for the team, and if you were late, then everyone suffered, etc., would you have had kind of similar success as you have now without your team of people, with your group, as in us or the people around you, or could you have got to this point or close to this point by yourself? And how have those people kind of shaped that journey?
No, that's a good question, but there's other mottos that I live by now as a result of that. If you want to go quickly, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. And I don't feel like, I don't feel like I would have got as far on my own, especially with Stop Holding Back on my speech, and also with work as well. It's important that in my business, we have a strong team and everybody's working towards the same thing and everyone has the same goal for the business. Obviously, people always have their individual aspirations, but in terms of the company and moving the company forward, everyone has to be on the same page, working towards the same target.
Amma, is that the same for you in the working environments that you've been before? Have you had that same kind of camaraderie where we are all in this together, or is there a bit more of a individualistic agenda to it at times? You don't have to name the company at all, by the way.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it'll vary project to project. I mean, it depends on that line. My line of work, working as a lawyer, it'll vary by the nature of the client you're working for and the deal you're working for. There is an individual element of it at time in the sense of the more senior you get, the more you just need to kind of get on with, what you're doing per se. But then obviously then there's huge, cross-border transactional deals where you do have to, pull in together, areas of law across, loads of different sectors of society and whatever relates to that transaction. And there is a kind of pulling together, certainly, and a team element. So it's just something which varies project to project, in truth. I didn't know you'd get me on here to talk about work, bro.
I don't know, something happened, but this was one angle of the sports genre that I wanted to touch upon, which was the whole team aspect. But this next bit, I'm gonna kind of speak a bit more about the individual. So the question is, forget about kind of the way they look or how tall either of them are. Would you rather be Ronaldo or Messi? And in 10, 20 years, which of the two do you think will be most satisfied with their career? Whichever one of you wants to go first.
Me first?
I'll go first.
I'll take this one. When you say would you rather be, you mean as in us individually? Which would we rather be?
Yeah, so people generally class them as the one who was born with it and the one who trained to get to that point. So who would you rather be in that aspect? And then in the future, looking back, which one of them do you think would be most satisfied with what they've done?
Ooh, the first question's a tough one there. I think the lazy person in me would say Messi, because it's just God-given and it's there on a plate. And if they put that injection in you at 14 or 12 or whatever he had, just deal with all that. And then
you've seen his arms. You've seen his arms. He's just like...
Then you're on easy street.
Amazing.
I mean, the inverted commas right answer is Ronaldo, obviously, man. The guy's just a role model. The way he lives his life, the focus, the dedication, his background, what he came from in terms of his dad being an alcoholic. He himself, he wasn't planned as a child. He was a mistake.
They were going to abort him.
That's what I mean.
Bloody hell, man.
So, I mean, that guy, the way he lives his life is just exemplary.
But he gets a lot of sticks still. He gets a lot of sticks.
Yeah, I mean, it's just jealousy. A lot of it's jealousy.
Different angles.
I mean, look, is he a bit of a prima donna at times? I mean, sure. But I mean, you don't get to where he's got to without having a massive sense of self-confidence. I wouldn't even call it arrogant the way Ronaldo is. It's just supreme self-confidence. And unless you're kind of in his sphere or in his zone, which A, none of us are, and B, 99.999% of humanity isn't, then you can't well, at football anyway, at other things I'm in that zone, but yeah, what can you say about that guy? It's just unbelievable focus, dedication to his craft and effort. And there's loads of anecdotes. Rio beat him at table tennis. He got so angry, he went and bought.
Didn't he hire a coach or something?
Yeah.
What did he do?
Went on it. He got so vexed at Rio beating him. I think he went out, bought a table the next day, practiced loads, got a coach or something, challenged Rio to a game 2 weeks later or something like that.
Footballers got time on their hands, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that's the thing. He does it. Yeah. The guy's training right, eating right. He's The second question, I think.
Whoa. Before we go to the second question, I'll pass it over to Chris.
Yeah, sure.
Let Chris do his
bit. Who would I prefer to be, Ronaldo or Lionel Messi?
Yeah.
I would prefer to be Cristiano Ronaldo simply because I rate how hard he's worked. I rate the effort that he's had to put in because he was always a good player. He always had potential from a young age, but his hard work has made him reach where he is. And I like the fact that he's prepared to challenge himself constantly by moving teams and moving leagues to try and prove that he can perform in the Premier League, he can perform in La Liga. Now he's gone to Juve, he's still killing it there. So someone like that always has my respect over someone who everything's been given to him on a plate almost.
Do you know what's mental though?
Yeah.
The mental thing is Ronaldo is extremely talented, so he didn't just work hard and just train and reach the level. He was already kind of in that bracket of top 10 players in the world with that ability, and then
but we can name
but
we can name hundreds of football players that when they were 18 everyone thought they were going to be the next big thing, but they never quite lived up to their potential. They decided to.
What was that American kid? The one that went out with Jojo.
Freddie Adu.
Yeah.
Freddie Adu, that's it, yeah.
He was not 14.
He moved to Benfica, innit? Or somewhere?
No? Something like that.
But
he was bodying man. He was bodying man in the MLS at 14.
Hey, he was a beast on championship manager.
That's not a serious league, man. That's not a serious league, man.
No, but just the vibe that people kind of just think, all right, so he worked for it, and then he reached there. But Messi, on the other hand, he had the talent, and then he was there. He had to work as well, damn it. As in,
Messi's obviously worked.
I'm
really
not strong.
saying that he's not worked.
Yeah. Because he gets barged and pushed and tackled repeatedly, but he's got the strength to actually kind of keep his balance and keep going, that fitness, that pace. He's still running games, man.
I just think that with Messi, I love him. I think he's amazing. I mean, he's like a magician, but he's not been tested outside of his league. And
does he have to? No, as in, but does he have to be tested? He can definitely do it in the Premier League. Come on.
Well, yeah, but I don't know.
Can't do it on a Tuesday night at Stoke.
He will come here.
They got relegated, man.
He can't do it on a Tuesday night, at the windy night, windy, rainy night.
Against Ben Mee and what's he? Burnley. No, as in
Burnley will be hacking him.
He'd be over. Sean Dyche should kill him out.
He won't want to know for the rest of the game.
This guy has spent 10 years playing against Ramos and Pepe, yeah?
Yeah, but that's twice a year.
Ramos and Pepe is twice a year.
Sorry?
Ramos and Pepe is twice a year.
No, but they
the rest of
met each other. No, but they constantly met each other in the cup games.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm being devil's advocate. Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt, like Messi, unbelievable, like in terms of his work ethic as well. Yeah, but I think even with that being said and that caveat being added, like the way Ronaldo works, I don't think anyone comes close. It's kind of like Floyd in boxing, right? People hate Mayweather, but his work ethic is insane.
Computer, isn't he?
Yeah, just a machine, man. Like, and no one
works harder than these
guys.
Bakana's left. What about Bakana's left? All right. Second question then. Who do you think would be more satisfied 10, 20 years time, looking back? By the way, before we get onto that, ESPN football, my boys, they recently did some poll amongst themselves, and they were ranking them two in the kind of top 10 of all time, and they kind of agreed on Messi as like top 3. It can't, and the options there change a bit depending on their preferences, but they put Ronaldo in at 5th, and someone kind of 6th. So they put him above Cruyff and a few of those, but it was essentially the big 3: Messi, Pele, Maradona. Then 4, 5, and 6 was R9, Ronaldo, and Zidane. But people were debating whether Zidane is ahead of CR7 or not.
Nah.
Yeah.
Zidane can't go ahead of Cristiano. That is ludicrous. I don't think that's even close. I'd debate whether Zidane should. I think Zidane's gone too high there. I mean, and no one's doubting the guy's amazing, genius and everything, but he's too high when you think in the kind of global pantheon players who've done it over the years.
But I think
he's too high.
But he smashed it. So he had a good France World Cup when they
France
won it.
98. Did he win Champions League with Juve? Did he win a Champions League with Juve?
2002 with Madrid.
Yeah, so just with Madrid, he didn't win it with Juve. They got to the final, didn't they? They lost to Dortmund, 97.
Yeah, and but he absolutely bossed it in the 2000 Euros. That guy was unplayable there, and then he had his kind of renaissance in 2006.
They cheaped that 2000 Euros, man. Italy should have won that final. Italy should have won that final.
Oh yeah, but
yeah.
That's life, isn't it?
Yeah, but I just don't think. I mean, it's hard to go with analytics or data with that stuff, but I think on paper the stats won't show Zidane as being close to Ronaldo's level. I don't think they should even be one apart. It's got to be more than one bracket apart. Maybe I'm being overly harsh, but
well, screw Zidane for a second. But back to the question: who do you think would be more satisfied looking back? You waste man. Come here, ruin my podcast.
No, it's got to be Ronaldo will be more satisfied because he's won the Euros. Messi,
he won the Nations League as well, bro. Come on.
Yeah, forget the Nations League. But Messi in the Copa, man, so many times.
3?
Like, he's got 3 finals in the Copa.
3 penalty shootouts in the final. Yeah.
Yeah, Chile twice. Yeah, Chile twice.
Colombia. No, was it Colombia or
Colombia?
Peru, wasn't it? Didn't they win the last one?
Peru.
It was some.
Did they?
Did I just mess up there? Check that.
Just Google that real quick. Yeah.
Check that up, Jamie, please. Put it up on screen, Jamie.
It's got to be Ronaldo, though, man. He won albeit they won the Euros without him. He wasn't involved in that final at all.
Yeah, but he smashed the group.
Yeah. And now Ronaldo knows as in there can't be any doubt he's worked. I mean, to be fair, we're going to go off on a tangent again, but that Real Madrid team are lucky to have the number of Champions Leagues they did. Pure.
Wait.
My God.
Wait. Sing. All right. This is what I found on Google. So, the question is, has Peru won a Copa America?
Yeah.
Peru has won the Copa America twice and qualified for the FIFA World Cup finals 5 times. Last appearance in 2018. So
that don't mean they won the Copa recently. Are you guessing it? They definitely ain't won the Copa like early 2000s or mid 2010s.
I think
definitely. Because I followed South American football quite obsessively, like.
You go to sleep, man. There's something wrong with your sleeping pattern.
Yeah, no, not now. I don't. Not anymore. Not anymore. I used to. I used to follow it quite obsessively.
All right, Chris, who do you think would be more satisfied?
Cristiano Ronaldo, probably because of what he's achieved with the national team.
Yeah, man.
And to be fair to him,
in the future, innit?
Yeah, but to be fair to him, he also hasn't had the national team squad that Messi's had either. So that's even more of an achievement for him. He's literally...
They're very top heavy though, but I do agree.
Yeah, I mean...
Portugal have always been like a balance.
Always been...
Yeah. No, I was saying the Portuguese team has always had a certain balance to it, where like they had like a linchpins in kind of key positions. Where if you go to the Argentinian team, like at the last World Cup, didn't they have like Demichelis and what?
Yeah, but wait,
Demichelis and
you know what?
When they
CJ, I don't know, man. I'm kind of gonna. I'm not doing it to be devil's advocate, but Portugal have had some really strong squads in them. It's kind of glossed over. Wait. Let me finish. Go on. Especially the Germany World Cup. Yeah, you had that Joker Maradona as manager, and so they were done even before they started. He was playing absolute wastemans in that team. He didn't take that 2010 World Cup. Maradona was the.
That wasn't Germany, was it? That was South Africa.
Whatever it was.
Germany was Peckerman.
Yeah. My bad. 2010 World Cup. Yeah.
Okay.
He had that Inter Milan team had Javier Zanetti and Esteban Cambiaso, who just won the Champions League. He didn't take either of them in his squad. Yeah. He was playing some wastemans like in like utter gas. He was playing like
Otamendi.
Otamendi was in the squad, and this is Otamendi pre-City, pre-anything. I think Otamendi was like 4th choice defender at Porto at the time. Like he was playing like and like
defensively, so but going forward,
don't talk over each other. Yo. Yeah. One at a time. Go on.
They were a gas team. It don't matter.
I mean, Chris, go. You've had your bit. Shut up. You know what? Go on, Chris.
What I was gonna say is that when Portugal won the Euros, who was the guy that scored for them in the last second? No one ever heard of this person.
Yeah, he played for Swansea.
Swansea, come on, man.
Mate, Swansea legend, man.
Strikers over the time. Michu, man. Hey, they've had some wicked strikers. Point taken. But still, Portugal's squads have been stacked over the years. You've got Pepe and Carvalho centre-back. They've always had a good keeper. Ricardo.
Vitor Baía was good.
You had Quentrao at left-back. Yeah. You've had, Varane.
Manish, man. Remember him?
Yeah.
Manish.
Brother. Yeah, that's like back in the day.
Bozingua.
Rui Costa, Bozingua.
But you're not talking about the superstars.
No, but like the point is because they've contributed towards like an effective team. They've given the platform to your star players to perform.
But point taken, like Cristiano, obviously, look, and to be honest, Portugal could have done better in a couple of those World Cups. What was the one they really went out really meekly to France? That was the Zidane headbutt year, 2006. They lost in the semi, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because they beat us in the quarter.
Oh, yeah.
And they should. That wasn't even that good of France performance or that good of France team. They could have done better that game. So they got to the semi there. These guys have been consistent over time. Should have won it 2004, lost to Greece.
Really? On home soil?
Yeah.
Greece?
Hey, Chris. Chris is Greek, right? Chris got some like Greek Great
Engine.
man.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to say that any team that has Messi and Aguero up front, they should achieve something over the years. Or they should have at least
Didn't they win the Olympics in 2008? Did they won soccer ball in the Beijing?
How much Messi Ronaldo chat we gonna eke out of this, bro?
Nah, it's all good, man. Let's keep going. No, but so like kind of like bringing it back now to like a personal perspective. If in the future, like Chris, like you kind of would you prefer to like have the like a tough path with charity, go through the trenches, and go through like the mud, and then come out the other side? Would you appreciate that experience a lot more than kind of things falling into place a bit more easier? Like things happen, like you get your Xavi, your Busquets, your Iniesta, you got your platform there, and you're scoring 50 goals a season? Or would you rather be the one kind of like dragging the team through cup after cup after cup? What is your kind of preference? And think about both sides, so the experience in itself, and then looking back in the future.
I mean, obviously, it would be nice if everything was plain sailing and it was a nice smooth ride and everything worked out and all the stars aligned for us nicely. But the chances are that isn't going to happen. But I feel like when you're passionate about something and you truly love it and you're passionate about helping people, then the roadblocks that you hit are not really going to feel like they're that much of a chore to sort out. I feel like, because I mean, so far we're still in the infancy and we've reached a lot of problems, a lot of things that we've had to get on with, a lot of hurdles we've had to jump over. But because the passion was there, we could have gave up ages ago. And because the passion's there, then yes, with the issues, it will make it that much more special once we reach a milestone that we're trying to hit.
That's a great answer, Chris, and I think I feel the same. It's all about the journey and what it gives you. I'm gonna take a look at what's happening on the Facebook feed and got some comments. So we got Sarab saying, "You guys are doing great, and I appreciate you guys." We appreciate you, Sarab. And I am too a football fan, and I think Jose Mourinho would be the happiest manager if the season was cancelled. And he also says Michu was the best of Swansea.
Oh yeah, Michu.
Yes,
yeah.
Guys, that's what I was
Remember
saying.
that guy?
Swansea have had some bad man strikers in the
that
day.
guy's a relic. Remember Samaras?
Or was he at Swansea? Sick. Nah, Samaras wasn't at Swansea. He was at Celtic.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
but he was crap.
Swansea played sick football back in the day.
Wilfred Bonny.
What happened to Laudrup? Like Laudrup was like
he went to Palace. No, he went to Palace, and then he lost 5 in a row and then vanished. Remember?
What? Like that's like a mirage. I don't even remember that happening. What? Yeah. He left after 5 games.
As in the manager, like yeah. Neck is that was the season where first 5-6 games at Palace, all games were lost, 0 clean sheets, 0 goals scored. Yeah. And then
is that when Roy saved him? Is that when Roy saved him?
Yeah, and he's still there.
Yeah.
Got Faison on the feed saying Christopher Jackson supports Tottenham, sadly.
Yes, I do. I do.
But Scott Coulson says it could be worse. It could support Barnsley. Scott,
that makes sense.
Barnsley,
yeah.
And Leo says, did you hear that Finland got into the Euros? So we've got Leo from Finland, and he said, so Finland got to the Euros after 100 years. Now the Euros are cancelled.
Yeah. Now you get it next year, bro. It'll be 101.
Don't worry. Finland 2021, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Euro 2021. You get Pucky there, you're fine.
Who else played for Finland apart from Bucky?
Bruh, he's a Jaskalainen. That's it. That's my knowledge of Finnish footballers there. Jaskalainen was sick back in the day.
What was that guy who used to play for Liverpool? Or was
Risa's Norwegian, bro.
No, the other geezer from like back in the day, from 90s.
Liverpool had Sami Hyypiä.
Jari Litmanen.
Oh, Litmanen. Oh, yeah. Litmanen. He's Finnish.
Oh, Hyypiä is also Finnish as well.
You know what? Litmanen was amazing. Litmanen he was a bandman at Ajax.
Yeah.
Litmanen. Yeah.
I think there was some stat where him and his son both played for the national team at the same time at one point.
That's sick.
That's like
that's a life
dream
goal,
come true,
man.
isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's sick. Yeah.
Dream come true.
Yeah, bro.
Amma.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you actually.
What's up? Lay it on me.
So now I've got in feed. Why did you say that stuff in that speech? No, I'm joking. I fucking loved it. Yeah.
Put that speech on your Facebook live stream. You'll get a few more viewers that way.
I think it might get taken down for like language.
Yeah,
No,
maybe.
but,
to be honest,
good.
the actual speech wasn't that bad. It was the photos that made it so much worse that you put up on the big screen.
There's plenty more where that came from.
Oh, God.
You know what, Chris? Like, these guys are actually smug about it, but they actually know that I'm a pretty good sport. And it was actually me who sent them that picture.
Which one?
That one.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Sorry?
He's a good lad. Why
would you do that to yourself?
Because I'm a good sport. Because what these guys eventually understood is that I have all the pictures. I have all the videos of everyone.
Oh, yeah.
They couldn't get it.
Ruben, the Super Bait one you didn't send. I had that photo already.
Which one?
The Prague one.
Dude, I sent that to you in January, remember?
The Prague one I had already.
I put it in the WhatsApp group, you muppet.
Collate your photos together, Ruben, and decide when your golden opportunity will be to bait up all your mates.
Don't worry.
Get them back.
We're going to set this guy up.
Yeah. Well, Neru, yeah?
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens after the end of this virus.
Yeah.
How are you guys filling the time without any sport on? And do you feel like you lost something, or in Chris's case, do you feel like you've gained something? Because Spurs' poor form has come to an abrupt end, and Kane and Son they are on the men right now as well, isn't it? So
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, we have to see if it is going to help us out, and if we carry on and we finish the season. Hopefully, we finish the season. We'll have a full strength squad, and we can fight for that top 4 spot maybe.
Here's the question for you, Chris. Have you ever been put in a situation where you've had to be like team captain?
Yes, I have.
And how's that? Yeah.
Well, that was actually for my Sunday League football team. And football, I was okay. I mean, I'm an okay football player. I wasn't technically the greatest, but I got away with it because I was quite quick and quite strong and physically a lot bigger than a lot of the other players. So that helped me out. But I had a period where about 2 years where we had a really good team and my performances were really good, and we went abroad to play in Cyprus, and we played against a couple youth teams there. And then because my performances were really good there, we came back to England, started playing in our usual Sunday League team, Sunday League again, and I was made captain for one game. And it just felt so weird that whenever the ref was about to book someone, he would ask for the captain to go over so they could explain, and everyone's standing there, and I'm standing there waiting for the captain to go over, but the captain was me. And I'm like, oh, well, okay, yeah. So it was just a real unnatural situation for me. on the football pitch, I wasn't a natural leader. I liked, again, because I wasn't the greatest player, I like to look to others for instructions rather than be the leader on the pitch. So I feel like I stepped up to the plate though. I feel like I delivered. But yeah, it was weird. It was weird.
Come up the man, come up the hour.
Have you ever been in that situation?
Yeah, like for some reason I'd try to kind of just play, but then always find myself like in kind of like a captain responsibility type position. So eventually I just kind of owned it and just went along. If kind of I started and stuff, then it's all good. You know what? Eventually I started to referee games as well. And you think playing football is hard? One of the hard experiences I had was refereeing under 8s, like some dead cup, 3rd, 4th playoff. It's some like participation cup, and you got the players just brats, just running around chasing ball, and the parents, there's some right pieces of work out there, trust me.
Yeah.
And to a point where parents were stepping on the pitch and threatening me.
Yeah,
threatening me. And their kids are like diving around, hacking each other, and that was quite challenging. I think it was more challenging because it wasn't really about speech at that point. It was just about me just like keeping my cool, because there were times where I was just about to switch, but as soon as as soon as the referee switches, that's game over, because these parents, they'll come and go, but that's your name ruined, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's really hard to keep control of the game, especially when the parents are screaming at you as well, because having the kids scream at you, having the kids scream at you is like one thing, but you can handle that, you can deal with that because it's on the pitch, you're in control. But when you've got another grown man screaming at you, and usually the use of language isn't great either, it's very difficult to hold back and keep yourself calm without losing the plot of them. I used to think, I mean, even in our Sunday league games, I used to think, why would you want to be a Sunday league referee? All you do is you wake up on a Sunday morning early in the cold, freezing, it could be snowing, could be raining, could be anything, muddy, wet, windy, to get abused. They just get abused the whole match, no matter if the guy's 10 miles offside, he has to turn around, I went offside, start screaming, calling him names, everything.
Do you know why you do it, Chris? Do you know why you do it, Chris? You get 50 quid a game.
Yeah, but
and like imagine doing
50 quid sometimes.
And imagine doing 2-3 games in the morning, get home by lunchtime.
Yeah, can you do that though? Like, there's leagues that run one after the other.
Yeah. Like there's certain pitches and places, so like you can either tell the FA of your county, or like speak to the venue, but generally like different teams will contact you, and you can have a profile on the database and stuff. So when I was coaching, I tried to ref on the same day as well, just to make some P on the side, right?
Okay.
Because I coached that game in the morning, then same pitch or just run the corner, there'd be a game on that I can ref, pack up the stuff, ref and go home. So and it was a great experience, right? Because you start building up a bit of an edge there, because you have to resist so many personalities and stuff. And one of the hardest things I had to do was actually ref a game with my own under 10s team, and had to send off one of my players.
You have to send off your own player.
Yeah, it was, mate. It was so awkward, right? And
were the parents watching?
Oh yeah,
oh my god!
And like, and the boy's Italian as well, and his parents like, Mateo, what are you doing? And boy's like, Papa, I'm sorry, and send them off. And then afterwards, like, and the mom's telling me, yeah, I think that was a bit harsh and everything, but this kid literally kicked out at a boy that ran past him, just kicked out and swiped with his legs right in front of all the parents.
Oh no, you had to send him off.
So then I
didn't have a choice.
So then I saw it, I'm thinking, oh, this is bad, right? But there's certain like rules and like kind of, because in like the rule book, there's like a clause there where saying in games involving under 10s and below, you don't actually have to give them a red card. You can force the manager to sub them off permanently, so you keep the balance of the game and stuff. So I told my friend at that point, who was taking charge of the game, all right, like on this page of the rule book, it says this: let's meet the manager and see what we can do. So the other manager agreed. You know what? Like, you gotta do what you want. It's cool. So we did the sub. Then all the parents were shouting, "That is disgraceful. What kind of example you teach?" You know. I looked at him again. I was like, "Crap, right?" and I was like, "Yeah." I just told him to send off.
It can be the most intimidating.
And we're faffing about too much as well, just trying to find loopholes in the rule book to keep having players on the
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Under 10s, mate. Sunday League. It's where it's at, but yeah, it was a really good experience. I don't wish that upon any one else. Have you ever coached before, Chris?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Would you like to?
I've never really been interested in it. Do you know what I would like to do?
Yeah. You got a nephew now, man.
Coaching.
You got a nephew now.
Yeah, but basketball coaching, but on more of a one-to-one basis. I'd like to learn and get into that. You know, like working, like doing the individual sessions.
Like fundamentals and stuff.
Coaching a team, I don't know. I've never really had aspiration to do that. But to help one person improve one aspect of his game, I think I'd really enjoy that.
All right, between the two of you, like, which sport do you think is probably the most beneficial to go into for a kid to like gain like the range of skills, both physical and competency based? So based on your wide experience of sports you've been watching at 3 a.m. Lacrosse.
Oh, that's a good question. That we're very girls and boys. There's aspects. So I was briefly involved in Sunday League.
Did it vary?
And also,
did it vary between girls and boys?
I think it does. Here's the issue I have with football generally. So I used to play five-a-side in Nottingham for literally about 10 years for a team, and then I actually played Sunday League in Valentine's Park. CJ, I used to play for a bit. Yeah, no.
Well, obviously not.
A few years
today,
ago,
but I mean, like
not today. But yeah. No, a few years ago, I played a little while, not for long. Just a mate told me to come along, so I was playing for I think maybe a few months, maybe 4 or 5 months. And the issue I have there is the wider culture around football. It can get quite overly aggressive. It's kind of linked to what you were saying, as in with the referees, that kind of situation and the abuse. So that's why I think the answer, unfortunately, maybe it shouldn't, but it does vary. So obviously I've got a young daughter at home, and I think what they're doing in women's football is great at the minute. It's getting, more traction and coverage, and it helps that we're really good, England. But I don't know if I'd want to I'm just going on based on my experience, kind of playing it, from a young age upwards. Like the language you hear on the football, it's like at the stadium, right? You hear the chants you hear and the language you hear. I don't know if that's the kind of sport I'd want to get her involved with at grassroots. I'm sure you can obviously learning within a team, you pick up lots of skills and you learn a lot of aspects. But I don't know if football is what I channel that through. For me, I don't know, Ruben, what are the rules? Are we classifying MMA as sport for the purpose of this combat sport?
That's what you've just taken my thing. You've just taken my.
I definitely, from a discipline aspect, that's something I'd want my daughter to do, and also it sounds a bit weird, but also I'd want her to do. Also, it depends if you're classing stuff like chess or golf as sports.
No.
I think. Okay. Yeah. Chess 100% I'd want it to do, because chess I think is hugely important and useful in terms of understanding strategy, patience, knowing how other people think, anticipation. I think and in terms of self-discipline, I think there's a lot that can be learned in chess. I am biased as someone who used to play it myself.
And you demonstrated zero of the skills in the time of interview. Discipline, patience.
Don't gas me up on your podcast. You're talking to someone who played for England, yeah? So give me my props where it's due.
You know what?
I'm collected on that.
Based on everything I've seen, if anyone said I've played for England or Britain, and if it's under 10s or below,
under 10s. Get out my face, bro. Get out my face, bro.
Off, man.
Nah, bro, I was 14 actually, tell a lie. 14 going on 15. Yeah. So don't gas me up with that.
Did you ever get past the quarters? Did you lose on penalties?
Nah, it wasn't like that. But as in my school, we were really good. At Nottinghamshire, we were really good. Yeah, so my school won national championships, stuff like that.
So wait.
We're going off on a tangent.
No.
Chess, golf, martial arts. That's it.
But with MMA, would you want them to be a generalist, or is there any
generalist? I think Wing Chun for girls is really useful. I think that's one which is I think adaptable. Well, I mean, it was started by
Chris knows exactly what I'm thinking, right?
Well, yeah, you're going to say BJJ.
Yeah, and so I've got a colleague who I worked with before, and this guy's a unit, man, proper unit. Yeah. He is of Asian background, but he served in the SAS, so he was a paratrooper. He did 2 tours in Afghanistan. He's been shot there.
Yeah.
Stuff and he's done some mad stuff. And so he's got a son and a daughter, and he's also a BJJ black belt, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And he teaches kind of small groups and stuff. And he taught his daughter, and he turned her into a black belt as well, or something. As in, yeah. And
how old did she get the black belt?
So she's 20 or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
just murking universe.
No, but he told me, as in, he's dangerous. And coming back to your point that you said before, so she was playing in a football match, and there were some boys who did some tackle and then chatting stuff and being aggressive. I don't know exactly what she did, but she ended up breaking the guy's leg. wait. And then the story gets back to the parents and stuff, and the mum's like, "What are you doing?" And then dad, my friend, he's just saying the same thing, but he's just trying to keep it inside. He's like, "Yes, come on," as in that's my go, isn't it? As in,
my work is complete.
Yeah, and because he full well knows that like she can take care of herself, and as a parent, that's probably like the
100%,
the feeling that you want, right?
Yeah, 100%. That's why it was my first. That's why it was my first answer. I think you want to have knowledge that your kids are safe, and for want of an equal society, it's still a case where if you're a young girl in this world, you're especially vulnerable potentially.
Chris does be there as well.
Yeah. Oh, so, really? Sick. Yeah. So it's a case that I'd wanted to do. Yeah, martial art, 100%. I think there's a lot you learn through doing the martial art, which she'd find useful and applicable and helpful for
keep
her
safe
throughout her life. Yeah, exactly.
What about you, Chris? Sports for your kids, future kids, hypothetical kids. No pressure.
Well, I personally think that everyone should learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. My biggest regret in life that I waited until now to get involved in it and to start it. I think that it teaches you so much, and I think like you were talking about that 20-year-old black belt. I mean, imagine the confidence that you will walk around with at 20 years old, knowing that if anything goes a little bit sideways, you can handle yourself and you can manage the situation to the way that you want it to go, rather than it just like go crazy out of hand. I mean, obviously there are things that are out of your control sometimes, but if you have that knowledge up to that level of a black belt at a young age, that is crazy.
Just to take that a bit further then, Chris, so do you think those kind of feelings, they can take your speech further as well? Because if you have that confidence to like kind of control that feeling of fear and danger, do you think you can actually keep in check some of those emotions of fear and danger that crop up when you're like crapping yourself when you're speaking?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you can learn to control your emotions and keep calm when there's someone twice the size of you on top of you trying to strangle you and get you in an armbar and like basically take your head off. If you can control your emotions in that, then you can transfer that into other areas of your life. You can work out for yourself that if I was able to control my emotions and my responses in this situation, then I can control it in that situation. So the outcome that I achieved in that situation, I can achieve a similar outcome in a speaking situation or a job interview or negotiating a business deal. You know, a lot of people in business can be intimidated by the person that's sitting on the other side of the boardroom table. But if you're not intimidated by no one, because you've learned all these other life skills through BJJ or some form of martial art, then it allows you to really excel in other areas of your life, like in business, like in work, like with anything really.
Cheers, Chris. Just to both of you, just to as we come close to the end, if you like kind of encounter someone who's like really kind of like unconfident, self-esteem's very, very low, and they just give off like this kind of like dead vibe, what sport would you recommend them to do to like turn things around? If you say like kind of, if you gave yourself a time limit of like 12 months or 18 months, is there any particular sport where they could gain some of these social skills and raise self-esteem, just one that they could nail twice a week?
I think the most accessible in those situations you're describing would be football, because it's always available. There's always going to be pitches. I think for the
what if they pick man
circumstances,
last every week?
well, if they're part of a team and part of the squad, I think that's where you're going to want a team sport there, not an individual pursuit.
But then it's still quite hard to actually infiltrate a team and get past cliques.
That's true. If you want to add in inverted commas an element of civility to it, then maybe cricket, get them involved in cricket. You're running up against some of those same issues as with football, but maybe it's more like a genteel, a more inverted commas civilized environment. That's
highbrow bullying.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it's a tricky question actually, but I'd lean more towards the team sports than an individual sport. If you're looking for someone to build their confidence and their network and their social skills and those soft skills, which are essential for later life.
Would you not agree, Chris, that like from what you've seen before, like you kind of could get more of a team element from an individual sport like martial arts, BJJ, boxing, because when you aren't constantly sparring and holding pads and training with the same group of people, you build a different kind of camaraderie. Even though it's individual, it becomes a bit more of a brotherhood. Where I've seen
that's a fair point.
I've seen team sports where like people have individual agendas, but you can't have an individual agenda within a BJJ or Thai boxing, because you need each other to actually improve.
Yeah. Before I went to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I was so nervous. I had this image in my head of this mad MMA cage and everyone like trying to take each other heads off.
Cauliflower ears and brock up tooth.
Yeah. I just had an image in my head, and when I went there, it was the complete opposite to what I imagined. You go in there and it's a lot more sociable than I've ever found football or basketball to be. Basketball and football, you can have a case of they're playing a team sport, but they're all trying to impress. They're all trying to do their individual thing within the team. Whereas with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you pair up, you roll, you spar, you talk about the roll and the spar, and you teach each other why I was able to get that on you and why you allowed me to do this and what you should do at this time. And then you switch partners and you start speaking to someone who's a blue belt, and then you create a friendship with them. I mean, I've only been going to my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu club for maybe 2 months, and I'm already in a WhatsApp group. I know everyone now. Everybody knows me. Chat about things outside of jiu-jitsu. So it's helping my social skills. Everyone there is the most unassuming, nice, calm person, and it's exactly the right type of people that you should be around if you do have that kind of social anxiety, if you are nervous to be around new people. For me, I just think it's perfect.
Just a side note, actually, I got an email from my BJJ club the other day saying, one of the students actually tested positive for COVID and was on a ventilator. And so he contacted them after kind of like he was in hospital and stuff. And yeah, but even before that, they had stopped classes, the gyms were closed. And I probably hadn't been in about a month because of the wedding and stuff. But I hope you're right, Chris, because I know you had symptoms last week.
Yeah, not much.
That's good. Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring is definitely not the motto with COVID, bro.
Yeah.
Guys, let's think about wrapping up. Any final words from you, Emma? How you found this experience? I'll just pop by, brother, and I might jump off for some point.
Yeah, really enjoyed it, brother. Thanks for having me on. CJ, thanks for all the points you've made. Really helpful and informative. Hit me up after. Maybe I'll join this BJJ club. of yours.
Yeah, calm down, man.
Yeah, when it's reopened, of course. Yeah, Ruben's been on at me about it for a while, so might have to do it. I've got the gardening leave a little longer. If we're on lockdown, we're on lockdown. If we come off, then yeah, I'm gonna hit you up for sure. But yeah, Ruben, really enjoyed it. You know, I'm happy to come back on anytime. You know, you may decide otherwise, but
it's fine.
It's been fun, brother. It's been fun.
Because I was just saying to Amarquis that we had, I think on Tuesday, Rahul was on. Rahul, Emma,
was it
my
Tuesday?
boy. Yeah, it was Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah. So we'll try and get the two of you on at the same time at some point if
let's do it.
Work out.
Let's do it. You pick the topic, bro. I can go all day.
I think you know that, man. I'll just put the kettle on and
yeah. Say it like that. Yeah.
Chris, last words.
Last words today. We established that it's Ronaldo over Messi, and it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu over team sports from me.
Yeah, that's pretty comprehensive, and I think we have to appreciate that between the two players, they both have things there, but definitely, like in the long run, he worked hard, and he's going to think back and think like he has overachieved, whereas Messi may look back and because he didn't win a big tournament with Argentina, he has underachieved, and because he would always have that the pressure there looming, but that's life, isn't it?
It's fine margins, man. You've got penalty shootouts, you've got an extra time loss. You know, these things are tough. Whereas, you know, Ronaldo's Champions League win with United is because John Terry fell on his ass.
Yeah.
Taking that fifth penalty. You got to love sport, man. You got to love these fine margins, man.
Definitely. And the main thing that they both have shown is consistency, which is what we are here on SHB Unfiltered. This is day 9 of lockdown, and we've been running every single day. So we'll be back tomorrow for whoever's watching. And these are available after the live stream. You'll find these on YouTube. So stop, take a look, and hope you enjoy. Guys, thank you very much. That's another one in the books, episode 9 of SHB Unfiltered. Take it easy, lads. I'm going to stop recording, but stay on.
Cheers. Thanks. Cheers, Ruben.
Thank you very much.